Welcome to my guide on how to play Marvel Snap. I'll be breaking this down into two halves, out-of-match and in-match tips. I hope this will help you improve your game all around and help you get to the infinite rank. So let's get into it. Number one, play. This is the most important, or one of the most important steps, because practice is how you get better at anything. And the game rewards you for even losing. You get boosters or currency, and you'll learn tactics and develop your own. The cycle of playing is really what helps you get to the top. Number two, follow rule number one. This isn't just a copy, it's actually really important. It's about actually having fun. Playing, by definition, is something you do for fun. I mean, the grind and reaching some rank is fun. There can be miniature goals, but keep them that way. Make sure the main is always for fun. Number three, learn the cards. Playing will help you do this, and it's really important. Just picture this. You're winning all three locations. Just by a bit, you think it's impossible to win, and noobishly think your opponent is snapping back for the heck of it. But then Doctor Doom is played, and power is applied to all the locations, and you lose. 8 cubes gone. Nothing you can do about it, although you could have done something about it if you knew the cards. So it's important. There are many other situations like this. You really gotta know these cards. Number four, use Marvel Snap Zone. It's a very helpful website. It will keep you updated on patches, buffs, and nerfs, and it's really important to know these things. If you had Spider-Man in a deck and you didn't know about the nerf he got back a few months ago, uh, yeah, using that deck, you probably would have lost a bunch of cubes and got a nasty surprise looking at your Spider-Man again. It just couldn't work. And then after he got moved to move decks, which is a first for Marvel Snap, that could have completely destroyed a deck. So you really got to know these things. So at least check the website before you play. Number five, learn the decks. This is about just as important as learning the cards because synergies kind of birth new abilities, just like cards do. They're very similar in most ways. If you don't know about combos, it's about the same as not knowing about a card. They can completely change the game, and you gotta know about these things. So try recognize what deck your opponent's using as early as possible and use the website to see what decks are popular and maybe use the deck that you know would work well against those popular decks, or at least know and study them. This way you won't get surprised, and that's important. Okay, that's half of it. Now, in-match tips. Number one, learn to snap. This is the game's namesake. It's how you control the cubes, and that's, I guess, the most important thing in the game. This controls your rank. And I mean in-game, not outside of game, like being a good sport and having fun. So you should know how to do this. Make sure you snap when you're very confident. And the most important part of this really is to learn how to be confident for the right reasons. Don't be confident because you have a good play. Be confident because you're pretty sure your play is better than the opponent's play and will win the game. Number two, retreating. This is a counterpart and as important, it also controls the cubes. Know when to cut your losses. If the opponent snaps and you're playing a mediocre game at best, cut your losses. You should just retreat. If you go on, think hard about it and make sure it's not because you can't let go. Make sure it's because you really think you can pull it back. Number three, use everything. You want to use your cards, of course, the locations, a bit obvious, and your opponent's cards. You want to use absolutely everything. Rocks are a valuable tool sometimes. You really want to stay in control and be unpredictable. And also, focus on predicting your opponent. It's a huge part of the game. This is what will help you snap and retreat accurately. And if you know what your opponent's going to play, you you can't lose really. If there's no way to win, you can just retreat, cut your losses, which is great. And if there's a way to beat it, you can do it. Prediction is something you should be focusing on throughout the game. Finally, some good sportsmanship tips. don't use leech. It's number one. Out of respect for other players, just don't use him. He sucks. Like, literally. And he sucks out the strategy of the game, which is the best part. Number two, save up. It's fun to have your favorite characters in your deck. See what decks he works in. And lastly, be a good sport. Don't use the sarcastic thumbs up sticker all the time. Give your opponent a fist bump at the beginning and end of the games. And keep your mood in the right place. This is sure to keep the fun alive. I hope it helps you have a blast. That's the guide. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned stuff. And I hope the Snap game really improves from this. If it did, maybe leave a like, maybe consider subscribing, and have a great rest of the day.